Don't forget to hit that subscribe. I appreciate all of your support. Enjoy the video. Teacher Talking Sports here, and today's video is going to talk about the 2021 All-MLB Team. I believe the players that could be voted on was announced 2 days ago on Friday. So voting's open. You can vote once every 24 hours. Best player at each position will announce the all MLB teams on MLB Network later this month. Voting ends Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So we're going to look at all the players that are on the All MLB team voting, and this is strictly fan voting. This is the third straight year they did it. This is the fans who decide. But for this video, we're also going to talk about and look at the biggest snub, at least in my opinion, at each position. So let's start with first base. There are 10 guys that can be voted upon. We got Jose Abreu, Pete Alonso, Freddie Freeman, Paul Goldschmidt, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Yuli Gurriel, Ryan Mountcastle, Max Muncy, Matt Olson, and Joey Votto. My biggest snub, I believe, is Jared Walsh of the Los Angeles Angels. He made his first All-Star team this year after finishing 7th in AL Rookie of the Year voting last year. As you can see on the year, batted .277 with a very solid .850 OPS, 29 homers, 98 RBIs, 34 doubles. I believe he should have been included over Mountcastle, and Josh Bell and Ty France could also have been included on here. Next, let's move on to the second baseman. There are 9 that could be voted upon. We got Ozzie Albies, Jose Altuve, Jay Cronenworth, Adam Frazier, Jonathan India, Brandon Lau, Whit Merrifield, Jorge Polanco, and Marcus Semien. My biggest snub for the position is Tommy Edman of the St. Louis Cardinals. Tommy Edman won his first Gold Glove this year in 2021. As you can see, he was close to league average offensively, .262 average, 11 homers, 30 stolen bases, only caught 5 times. His 41 doubles were among the league leaders. Of course, provided excellent fielding, thus why he won Gold Glove, led the NL with 641 at-bats, and played a huge role in what I believe was, 17 straight wins for the Cardinals late in the season to help them get in the wild card game. Next, let's take a look at the shortstops. There are 10 players that can be voted upon. We got Tim Anderson, Bo Bichette, Xander Bogart, Carlos Correa, Brandon Crawford, Nicky Lopez, Corey Seager, Trevor Story, Fernando Tatis Jr., and Trey Turner. My biggest snub at shortstop is Javier Baez of the New York Mets. Started the year with the Chicago Cubs. Baez won his first Gold Glove last year, and yes, he did mostly play second base once he was traded from the Cubs to the Mets, but overall he played more games at shortstop, much like Trey Turner, who's listed at shortstop. Turner mostly played shortstop for the Nationals before being traded to the Dodgers, where he played second base. So Baez would have been listed at shortstop if he were to have made it. Baez overall in 138 games. Yes, he definitely does have his flaws, as evidenced by 184 to 28 strikeout to walk ratio, 319 on base percentage. So yeah, he's going to strike out a ton and not draw a lot of walks. But he began drawing more walks with the Mets, and he still was overall productive. 31 homers, 18 stolen bases, 87 RBIs, well above average, 813 OPS. Javier Baez played excellent defense at both shortstop and when he moved to second base with the Mets. Baez is my biggest snub at shortstop. Next, let's move to third base. Third base has 7 players that can be voted upon. We got Nolan Arenado, Rafael Devers, Manny Machado, Yoan Moncada, Jose Ramirez, Austin Riley, and Justin Turner. My biggest snub for third base is Jeimer Candelario of the Detroit Tigers. Candelario is second straight pretty good offensive, well above average offensive season with the Tigers. Not a team that scores a lot of runs, but this past season, 271 batting average, 122 OPS plus. His 42 doubles led the American League, hit 16 homers. Pretty decent glove at third base. Candelario is my biggest snub at third base, with Josh Donaldson also being heavily considered. Catcher, we have 7 catchers listed to be voted upon. We got Wilson Contreras, Yasmani Grandal, Salvador Perez, Buster Posey, JT Realmuto, Will Smith, and Mike Zunino. Now, catcher was not a very deep position this year. A lot of teams are looking for even halfway decent production at the catcher position, so it was definitely hard to choose the biggest snub. I'm going with Jacob Stallings of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Much like Tommy Edman, Stallings won his first Gold Glove in 2021. So the main reason he's included as the biggest snub is because of his defense, but he at least provides very close to league average offensive performance. Nice solid 335 on base percentage. Did hit 8 homers, drove in 53 runs. So again, catcher just not a very deep position this year. So it was hard to pick a snub. I'm going with Stallings because of his defense. Mitch Garver had played more than, I believe, around 65 games. He was excellent offensively. So if he had played a little more, he would have definitely been the biggest snub. All right, next we got the designated hitter. This year, designated hitter was only an American League thing after being utilized in the National League in the shortened 2020 season. So just 5 players are listed to be voted upon. We got Yordan Alvarez, Nelson Cruz, JD Martinez, Shohei Ohtani, and Giancarlo Stanton. My biggest snub for designated hitter is Franmil Reyes of the Cleveland Indians. Reyes had very similar numbers to Nelson Cruz, who of course is much more well known, but Reyes this past season, excellent 846 OPS, 30 home runs, drove in 85 runs in just 115 games. Plus, if you think of Nelson Cruz, really didn't reach the expectations that Tampa Bay was hoping for after they acquired him in a trade. Since they only listed 5 designated hitters, I don't know why they wouldn't have thrown Franmil Reyes also on the designated hitters. All right, next we got outfield, and since you can select 3 outfielders. I'm going to select my 3 biggest snubs at outfield. So they list 18 players in the outfield that can be voted upon. We got Randy Rosarina, Mookie Betts, Chris Bryant, Nick Castellanos, Adam Duvall, Adolis Garcia, Mitch Haniger, Bryce Harper, Enrique Hernandez, Teoscar Hernandez, Aaron Judge, Cedric Mullins, Tyler O'Neill, Brian Reynolds, Kyle Schwarber, Juan Soto, Kyle Tucker, and Jesse Winker. So my 3 biggest outfield snubs, we're going to start with Starling Marte of the Oakland Athletics, although he did begin the 2021 season with the Miami Marlins before the Athletics acquired him in trade. Definitely probably had his best offensive season of his career high OPS at 841. His 310 batting average was just 1 shy of his career high. Excellent base runner this year. 47 steals led the majors, and he was among the leaders in both the American League and the National League since he played with both the Athletics and the Marlins. 47 steals and was only caught 5 times. 27 doubles, 12 homers, nearly 90 runs scored in 120 games. Solid defense at center field. My next snub is a guy who didn't even reach the Mendoza line hitting, but he has qualities that make him a very worthy candidate to have been on this list to be voted upon. We got Joey Gallo, started the year with the Rangers, finished with the Yankees. Did not play very well offensively with the Yankees, other than those 13 homers in 58 games. But, much like Baez, a guy who clearly has his flaws, struck out 213 times this past year. But with those league leading 111 walks, even batting under the Mendoza line, he's still at a 351 351 on base percentage, over an 800 OPS, 38 homers, one of the best power hitters in the game. And he also provides excellent defense in the outfield, right field with the Rangers, mostly moved to left field with the Yankees, winning a Gold Glove for the second straight year. So despite batting under the Mendoza line, I think Joey Gallo has a case to have been listed. Next, we have a guy who only played about half the season, but he was so good in that half season, I'm going to include him. That's Ronald Acuna Jr. Only played in 82 games this past year, but before he got hurt, he was arguably the leading National League MVP candidate. As you see in those 82 games, he made quite the impact. 283 batting average, 990 OPS, 24 homers, 17 stolen bases, 72 runs, so very close to a run scored per game. Ronald Acuna was going to have one of the best seasons in baseball this year. Unfortunately, he got hurt, but the Braves were still able to win the World Series. All right, next we have starting pitchers. So I'm going to list 5 snubs since you can pick 5 pitchers. Let's name the guys that could be voted upon. We got Sandy Alcantara, Chris Bassett, Jose Berrios, Walker Buehler, Corbin Burns, Dylan Cease, Garrett Cole, Max Fried, Kevin Gossman, Lance Lynn, Lance McCullers Jr., Charlie Morton, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Peralta, Robbie Ray, Carlos Rendon, Max Scherzer, Julio Urias, Adam Wainwright, Logan Webb, Zach Wheeler, and Brandon Woodruff. So the 5 snubs I got at starting pitchers. We're going to start with Joe Musgrove of the San Diego Padres. Musgrove did throw a no-hitter early in the season. Overall, ended up going 11-9 with a 3.18 ERA on the year, striking out 10.1 batters per inning, and finishing with a 1.08 whip. Next, again, another guy who had his season shortened by quite a bit, but as you see, still finished with a 5 WAR, according to Baseball Reference. That's Jacob deGrom. Yes, he only made 15 starts, but look at how amazing those 15 starts were. 7-2, 1.08 ERA, 0.55 whip, 40 hits allowed and 11 walks in 92 innings, 146 strikeouts and 14.3 Ks per 9 innings. I mean, this guy was ready to have one of the best seasons in MLB history. And even though 15 starts only, those 15 starts were so superb, I had to include them in my snubs. Next, we got Ranger Suarez of the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, Ranger Suarez did start the year in the bullpen. He did only make 12 starts, but he made such an impact in those 12 starts. Let me get his game log so I can show you how he did in those 12 starts. My internet doesn't seem to be working, so let me not do that. But overall, 1.36 ERA, over a strikeout an inning, exactly a 1 whip. Ranger Suarez, what an amazing season. I believe his ERA was about 1.50 in his 12 starts. He began starting games in the beginning of August. Next, we got Lucas Giolito of the White Sox. And I was surprised that they put Dylan Cease on this list over Giolito. As you can see, this past year, 11-9 with a 3.53 ERA in his 31 starts, 201 strikeouts in 78 and 2/3 innings, 10.1 strikeouts per 9, and a very good 1.10 whip. again, overall, he just seemed to have a better season than Dylan Cease, but they put Cease on the list and not Giolito. Next, we got Nathan Eovaldi of the Boston Red Sox. Eovaldi pitched like the Red Sox ace this year as they made it into the playoffs. This past year, 11-9, 3.75 ERA, All-Star for the first time. Actually, led the league in fielding independent pitching, FIP, 2.79. Led the league in least walks per 9 innings, 1.7. One of the hardest throwers in the game, 195 strikeouts in 182 and a third innings. Those are my 5 biggest snubs at starting pitcher. Could also have included Anthony DeSclafani of the San Francisco Giants. Next, relief pitcher. Well, before we get to relief pitcher, let's show who we got. So you could pick 2. The relief pitchers you can vote upon: Aroldis Chapman. I don't know why he made it. Emmanuel Clace, Giovanni Gallegos, Josh Hader, Liam Hendricks, Raisel Iglesias, Kenley Jansen, Craig Kimbrell, Andrew Kittredge, Jonathan Loizaga, Jake McGee, Mark Melanson, Ryan Presley, Jordan Romano, Garrett Whitlock, and Devin Williams. So my 2 biggest snubs at relief pitcher, we're going to start with Kendall Graveman. Kendall Graveman, a very surprising trade when he was traded from the Mariners to the Astros. He may not have been as good with the Astros as he was with the Mariners, but he was still solid. But if you look at those 30 games he pitched with the Mariners prior to being traded, a microscopic 0.82 ERA and round up to a 0.70 whip, giving up just 4.1 hits per 9 innings. His strikeout ratio went up with the Astros, and even though his ERA went up quite a bit for the year, still finished with a 1.77 ERA and 0.98 whip. And my other snub is Blake Treinen of the Los Angeles Dodgers. Treinen was superb in the 2018 season with the Athletics. As you see, he finished 6th in AL Cy Young voting that year with the Athletics, 0.78 ERA and 38 saves. The past 2 seasons have kind of went backwards for him, but this year he went back to nearly being as good as that 2018. Maybe not quite, but still 1.99 ERA in 72 and a third innings, 85 strikeouts, less than a 1 whip, only 46 hits allowed in those 72 and a third innings. So Blake Training's my other relief pitcher snub. Also Drew Steckenrider had consideration. So those are my biggest snubs for the MLB All-MLB team for 2021. They will announce a first team and a second team, and it's all tabulated by fan voting, so we will see who gets in. Do you agree with my snubs? Did I miss anyone? Who do you believe should have been included on this that wasn't? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.